on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We're back today with another Tesla full self-driving video. Right now we're just cruising around. I don't even have a destination entered in the GPS. I was kind of just wondering where it would take me if I just turned it on and let it drive. So I've been cruising around for about 30 to 45 minutes for the last 30 to 45 minutes, and it's just been going all over the place. So I figured I might as well turn the camera on just in case it catches anything cool, and we'll just talk about some random stuff as we drive. It's been a little while since I've uploaded a video for a couple different reasons. Mainly I just haven't been happy with the ones that I've filmed, or I was having a lot of issues with my GoPro overheating and turning off midway through drives. So I think I had filmed a couple videos on my normal Yorktown Beach test route, but almost every single one overheated about halfway through the drive, and it just bothers me when when I have to start recording again, or there's like a skip in the video or whatever. So I ended up not uploading those, and time just got away from me. I think it's been probably about 8 months since the last video that I uploaded. In fact, I think the last one was on version 12.3.5, which was really a long time ago, because pretty much everybody was stuck on 12.3.6 for a while. And so right now we're on 12.5.4.1. I think they give these things the longest names possible to make us sound ridiculous when we're filming videos. But yeah, that's what we're on right now. And like I said, we're just cruising around, no destination entered or anything, just kind of seeing where it brings us. It's a beautiful day outside, a perfect day for this, and I don't have anything to do, so we'll just see what happens, and we'll talk about different stuff as we go. And if it does anything cool, then that'll be awesome. But yeah, you can probably tell I'm in a different car than I was in my last video. I ended up picking up this car on September 4th, so about a little bit over 2 months ago now. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, almost 2 months ago. It's a 2024 Model 3 Performance. I wasn't planning on buying this for a couple more years. I always knew I wanted one, but the timing just wasn't right. I had just gotten the other car, and it just didn't make financial sense to buy this one yet. But then Tesla went and came up with a billion different incentives, and I just couldn't pass it up. So I ended up getting what I consider to be 3 awesome incentives, almost $20,000 in savings by the time you add it up. So I was able to, of course, get the $7,500 federal tax credit. I was able to transfer full self-driving, and I also got 1.99% financing. So like I said, the 3 of those things added up: $7,500 for the tax credit, $8,000 for the FSD transfer, and then the financing saved me somewhere in the neighborhood of $6,000. So when you add that up, it's right about $20,000. So I didn't want to pass that up. I didn't know if they were going to do another FSD transfer quarter. They were kind of acting like they weren't going to, but then they ended up doing it again. And I've kind of got a sneaking suspicion that that's going to be around for a little while. After the recent earnings call, when they kind of admitted that they don't know whether or not Hardware 3 is going to be able to support fully autonomous or unsupervised full self-driving, I have a feeling that they would rather let everybody transfer their FSD from Hardware 3 to Hardware 4 than have to pay for any sort of retrofit or do anything to make right by the people that have Hardware 3. So that's just kind of my feeling. I think we'll see it all through next year, and it wouldn't even surprise me if they didn't make Hardware 3 to Hardware 4 FSD transfer permanent. Now, I think that they're probably not going to let you transfer when Hardware 5 or AI 5 comes out, but we'll see. But yeah, my bet is that they do permanent, or they're not going to say that it's permanent, because it kind of makes people feel like, oh, if I don't hurry up and do it, then I might not be able to, kind of like me. But I think we're going to see it for a while moving into the future. So yeah, like I said, I got those 3 incentives. They were awesome. So far, I love the car. It's really the best performance car I think that you can buy for the money. I guess the car everybody kind of compares this to is a BMW M3, and I'm not really sure what the price point on that is. I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $75,000 to $100,000. And this one, at the time of this video anyway, is priced at $54,990, which is definitely an expensive car, but for what you're getting, it's pretty incredible. You get a car that can drive itself, 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds, all-wheel drive, super comfortable inside, quiet, looks great. Just an overall awesome car. Now, I have had some problems with mine. Some of them were Tesla's fault. Some of them, I don't want to say were my fault, but there were things that weren't Tesla's fault. So I'll start off talking about what was wrong with the car straight from the factory. Exterior wise, there were paint scuffs and there was some like deformities on the body. I don't necessarily want to call it damage because it kind of looks like it came from the factory this way, but the paint scuffs looked like they probably happened during delivery, like maybe it brushed up against something or some straps or something brushed up against it. I was able to buff those out really easy. I did end up doing that myself. I didn't do anything about the body damage. I didn't mention it to Tesla or anything just because I was kind of worried that they might want to send it to a body shop to have it fixed. And I've seen too many times where the bodywork repairs end up looking worse than what the original damage was. And like, honestly, I'll put some pictures up in the video, but you really can't even tell if you're not looking for it. It's not anything bad. There wasn't paint damage around these deformities. It was just kind of some weird spots. But anyway, I'm fine with them. It came from the factory like that. It gives the car character. But so yeah, that was the exterior stuff. It wasn't a whole lot. The main issue that I had was a horrible dash rattle right along where that speaker panel runs along the front of the dash. I mean, it was like if you were going over 25 and you hit a bump, it sounded horrible. And it's really exaggerated in the new Model 3s because they're so quiet inside. You got double pane glass all around the car, better insulation, just a real quiet car to ride in. So any kind of rattles inside are like very exaggerated. So they ended up fixing that for free. And they even told me, I didn't know this with the last one that I bought, but apparently they'll service the car up to 4 times for little things like that. After you buy it, they'll service it 4 times for free. So if you didn't know that, that's pretty cool. I'm glad they told me. But yeah, so they fixed the dash rattle. There's some other little rattles in the car, but I can't really make out where they're coming from, and they seem to come and go. They're definitely worse when it gets colder outside, but none of them are nearly as bad as that speaker panel rattle was up there. I mean, that was like, it was really miserable to drive the car over 25 miles an hour is how bad it was. But yeah, other than that, the car is great. I got white interior and stealth gray. I really wanted to buy the red, but it's kind of a long story. But basically, if you buy the red, then the car's not eligible for the tax credit. It puts the car over $55,000 unless you buy full self-driving outright, which I didn't really want to do because I already had it on my old car, and I wanted to. Part of the reason I bought this was because of the FSD transfer. So yeah, it's pretty much the only way you can get the red paint and still qualify for the tax credit right now is to buy FSD again. But I actually ended up really liking the stealth gray. I did not want it at all at first, but when I went and looked at it in person and I saw it clean up close, it's actually a really nice color. It's got a lot of depth to it, a lot of sparkle in it. It's actually got a lot of blue in it too. So it's actually a pretty nice color. I like it way more than I like white or pure black. I'm kind of surprised it's the free color over one of those two. But yeah, so stealth gray, white interior. Right now for the performance, they're not charging for the white interior, which I really never thought I'd buy white interior, but I saw it in person. I really liked it. It's grown on me over the years since I bought my last car. And at the time that I bought that one, I swore I would never do it, but I mean, I watched a lot of videos. It's not that hard to keep clean. And then if it does get dirty, it's not that hard to clean. Basically like a wet cloth and you just wipe it down. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy that I went with that, especially with the new performance interior. The seats in this thing look awesome and they're equally as comfortable. Now, they're not quite as soft as the previous generation seats, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think they conform to the body better. And I don't know which one I would call more comfortable. I think probably the old seats for a really long road trip are more comfortable. But just day to day, I really do prefer these ones. You kind of fit snugly into them. Sorry, watching a guy to the left of the car. And overall, I really like the interior too. It's a small touch, but I like the LED lighting strip that runs around the inside of the car. I love having air-conditioned seats. I never realized how big of a deal that would be, but like on a hot day when I get back in the other car now and drive it around, which by the way, I'll talk about that in a minute, but I did keep the other car. When I get in that one and drive it around, it's very noticeable how much hotter the seat is. And I was just, I've never had air conditioned seats before, so that's just what I'm used to. But I don't think I could go back to that full time now. This car is spoiling me. The sound system and the performance is out of this world. Now, I thought that the sound system in my, so if you don't know, my previous car was a 2023 Model 3 rear-wheel drive, which doesn't have the premium sound system, and I thought that sound system was incredible, and it is, especially relative to the other cars that I've had. But this one is like, it just blows the other one away. It's amazing. Trying to think what else is different between them. Obviously, the new car is the new body style, slight refresh on the exterior and the interior. I think they did a great job on that. I like the new steering wheel. The new car doesn't have stock, so it doesn't have a turn signal stock or a gear stock. And I kind of had mixed feelings about that at first, but I really don't care one way or another now. I still drive the other car from time to time. It doesn't take me that long to get used to switching between them. I really can't say that I have a preference one way or another. I might lean towards liking the turn signal stock a little bit more, just because sometimes, like when I turn into my parking lot at work, I make a left turn and then immediately make a right-hand turn, and I like to signal for both of them. And I usually need to turn the right turn signal on in the middle of my left turn, and it's kind of hard to do that because the steering wheel's upside down and the buttons are over here and they're turned backwards. So sometimes that gets a little bit weird, but yeah, like I said, really, I don't have a preference one way or another. It is cleaner without the stocks, and I guess Tesla's view is everything's going to be autonomous in the future anyway. You don't need them. I think if they could, they'd already be rid of the steering wheel, but yeah. Overall, though, I definitely do prefer the new car. I still love my old one, and like I said, I did end up hanging on to that just because it did not make financial sense to trade it in. They were going to get me pretty good on that one, so I hung on to it. There have been a couple times that I've had to drive it. I didn't get a flat tire, but I had a nail go through my tire in this and had to get it repaired, and so I was able to take the wheel off of this one, throw it in the trunk of the other one, and take it to all the different tire shops until I could find somebody to get it fixed for me. And then when I dropped this one off for the dash rattle, I was able to drive the other one around. All right, it looks like this lane's gonna end. We kind of need to get over. This car to the right of us is being nice and letting us over. Really, I have no idea where we're going. In fact, I really kind of, in all my talking, have lost track of where the hell I'm even at. So anyway, car's doing a great job. I've had to intervene like twice today. I was driving around a little bit before I turned the camera on. One time I intervened because of a speed bump, and then the other time was because it was getting ready to go somewhere I didn't want it to go. So none of them have been safety critical or anything like that. But yeah, very nice day to be out cruising around. Another Tesla there. Feel kind of bad for these people behind us. They let us in and we're going a lot slower than they were going, but they'll be okay. So I was saying earlier, we're on version 12.5.4.1, and I want to talk a little bit about pros and cons versus the version 12.3 branch. I keep going back and forth. It seems to vary day by day on how I feel about it, but I do think overall this is a better build than, I'm just going to say 12.3.6, because that was the main one for the 12.3 branch that everybody was on. There's definitely improvements over that branch, but there's also some regressions too. So I'd say the biggest improvements, and this one doesn't really have anything to do with the driving per se, but the vision monitoring system that watches your eyes instead of making you wiggle the steering wheel, or the steering wheel nag as everybody calls it, is a drastic quality of life improvement when using FSD. It's so nice to just be able to sit back and actually pay attention to the road and not have to be worrying about, am I missing a steering wheel nag? Is it gonna give me an autopilot disengagement? You can just sit back and relax and actually pay attention to what's going on in front of you now, which is very nice. The acceleration and deceleration is much improved. Now, the car doesn't always pick the right speed to go. All right, what's going on here? That was a little bit rough. Now, I was a little bit confused about how that turn went too, so I don't think the car did any worse than I would have done, but anyway. I really have no idea where I'm at. Yeah, the acceleration and deceleration I think is much better. The acceleration is way smoother. It just doesn't always pick the right speed. Now, today it's actually been doing a phenomenal job, but a lot of the times it wants to drive too slow or it wants to drive too fast. And then it has like this speed decay thing where, let's say you're on a 55 mile an hour road and you get it up to 55, it like slowly slows back down. And then sorry, I'm watching the people behind us. I feel like we're driving really slow now. I see the speed limit sign up here says 45. The screen says 35. These people are like on my tail, so I kind of feel like we should be going a little bit faster. Let's see what it does when we pass this sign. They're probably regretting letting me in by now. I might give us a pedal tap here to get us sped up. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. They were nice enough to let us in, so I'm gonna go ahead and pay that respect back to them. But anyway, like I was saying, I think I was talking about the speed control. Yeah, the speed decay issue. So it might even do it here where I've gotten it up to 48 now, but it'll slowly slow back down until we're going too slow again. But I'd probably, if I had to guess, I'd say 50% of the time it picks the right speed. The other 50%, it might be close, but it's either too fast or too slow. Deceleration's much better. 12.3 seemed to slow down way too early and then like creep to a stop, either when you're coming up behind people at a stoplight or coming up to a stop sign, or whenever you're coming to a full stop. It was just like a little bit too slow doing that. And this is still a little bit too slow for my liking, but it's much better. We're trending in the right direction. And 12.3 had this weird like acceleration wave issue. It's like if you're accelerating to 55, it would do it in like 15 to 20 mile an hour increments. So it would get up to like 20 and then it would stop accelerating for a second, and then it would go up to 40 and stop accelerating for a second. And it just felt a little bit unnatural. And that seems to be gone now. Like this picks a speed that it wants to go, right or wrong, and just accelerates up to that speed. And sometimes it does it with a good amount of acceleration, which feels good. So yeah, those are big improvements. Now some regressions I've noticed, some roadkill there. I don't think we ran it over again, and I don't know if that was the car intentionally not running it over. I think we just might have been positioned right not to, but yeah, some regressions. At low speed, there's a lot more jerkiness, especially like going through parking lots or making really slow, sharp turns. You get some uncertainty in the wheel, which you can feel now. 12.3 was just so smooth all around. Even if it was doing something stupid, it was really smooth about it. So there's a little bit of jerkiness in this. There's some phantom braking that's come back. Nowhere near on the level of version 11, but certainly noticeable. Sometimes it'll just slow down very harshly for no reason, and it's gotten better since 12.5 released wide, but it's still there from time to time. I notice it mainly at night. I'm trying to think if there's any other regressions. If there are, I'll talk about them when I think about them, but they're not coming to mind right now. Today's drive overall has been really good. Only intervention so far while filming has been me having to press the pedal to make it speed up because the people behind us were getting a little bit impatient. I think it probably would have sped up eventually, but like I said, they let me in. They were nice enough to slow down and let me in. They didn't have to do that, so figure I'll pay it back for them. I don't know why I've never done this before. Just turn on FSD and let it drive, because usually, I try to pick random destinations to go to, and I always seem to have a hard time finding a nice route. It just seems to be like the car always seems determined to get me on the interstate, which, if you know anything about version 12 right now, not everybody has the end-to-end on the highway, so you get on the interstate and you're back on like version 11 FSD, which is fun, but it's not the most recent thing. I want to use the most recent thing, so this is like a really nice cruise that it's taken us on. We got a big cardboard box in the road. Ugh. Well, I hope there was no nails in that wood that we just ran over. That is exactly how I got the nail in my tire the other week. Was I watched FSD run something over, and instead of intervening, I just let it do it. And in all fairness, it did not look like it was going to have a nail in it. It just looked like a small circular piece of plastic, but it definitely had a nail in it. But yeah, that stupid mistake the other week cost me about $550 to have that tire replaced. And it was really unfortunate too, because the nail went through the tread in an area that the tire shop was willing to patch it, and then they pulled the tire off of the wheel, and the nail had gone through at an angle and poked into the inside of the sidewall. Okay, car did a good job not overreacting for the man in the electric wheelchair there. But yeah, the nail went through and like gouged a hole on the inside of the sidewall, and so they didn't want to patch it then. And when I saw it, it didn't look good. I didn't really want to drive around on that either. So, like I said, $550 for a new right rear tire. It is what it is. I could have gotten a cheaper tire, but the car only has like 2,000 miles on it. I really didn't want to have a different tire in the right rear than the other three and be driving around like that for, 30,000 miles or however long these tires last for. So I went ahead and had them match the same tire. It took a couple days for them to get it in stock, but at least it looks the same as the other ones. Had to kind of drive my OCD crazy if that was a different tire. We're driving a little bit slow right now. There's really nobody around us. There's a car coming up behind us now, but they can go around on the right. We're pretty much going dead on the speed limit. I'd probably be going a little bit quicker than this, but like I said, I'm not in no rush to get anywhere. Don't actually have a destination. It's a beautiful day to be out cruising. Now, them passing us made it speed up a little bit. This is a more appropriate speed to go. Now, what I found is even if this says we're doing 47, 48, we're probably doing about 1 to 2 miles an hour slower than whatever it says. I think they do that on purpose, just for, I guess, safety. I don't know. But this thing definitely reads higher than we're actually going. On a separate note, I'm hoping that there is a noticeable difference in video quality here. So my previous videos were all shot on a GoPro Hero 9, which actually had pretty nice quality. I really had no complaints about that. My biggest complaint with that was that it overheated all the time. And the 13, which I'm filming on now, overheats too. It seems to be a little bit better. And I don't know that if you put the two videos next to each other that I'd be able to tell you which one was shot on which camera. They do look different, but they both look equally as good, if that makes any sense. But apart from the camera, I've also got a new mic. I ended up buying Rode Wireless Pro mics. And I probably didn't need a mic that nice, but I ended up getting a really good deal on eBay on them, so I went and jumped on it. I bought some cheaper mics on Amazon too, which actually sounded really good, and I didn't have a problem with them. I just wanted to experiment with some different stuff, so hopefully it's noticeable. I know it'll definitely sound better than the built-in GoPro audio. And then I've also been messing around with different stuff editing-wise, just trying to get better at editing. I'm using Filmora Wondershare right now, which I don't know how nice of a program it is, but it's definitely intuitive. I use Adobe Premiere Pro at work, and I'm kind of new to video editing. Are we gonna stop? Yep. I'm kind of new to video editing, so to me, Filmora is way more intuitive than Adobe is, but I'm sure Adobe has much more capability to it. It just seems like Filmora is more user-friendly for a person who's new to editing like myself. I'm actually working on a Smart Summon video right now. So if you don't know, actually Smart Summon, which is like the updated version of Tesla's Summon, just came out with version 12.5.4, and it's had one iteration to it for 12.5.4.1, and it's actually really good. I was basing my expectations for Summon off of my experience with FSD, which I've been using FSD now for almost 2 years, and it's done a lot of stupid stuff in that time. Like, if I were able to add up all of the disengagements that I've had, it's a lot. And I kind of expected Summon to be the same way at first. That, ooh, all right, definitely had to intervene there. I don't get why it does that sometimes, but that was a green light, and it started to go, and then slammed the brakes, and the people behind me were already starting to accelerate. So 12.3 never did that. That's definitely new behavior with 12.5, and I've seen a bunch of people online talking about that, so that was weird, and I don't like that. But anyway, back to Smart Summon. That's a good example of stupid stuff that FSD does, and I was worried that Smart Summon was going to do the same things, but so far it has far exceeded my expectations. I've used it, I know, more than 50 times, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 100, and I've only had like 3 or 4 times where I had to run over and go rescue the car, but those were actually on the first release of it, or the majority of them were on the first release of it, and then the update to Smart Summon was supposed to address the problems that I had. So the two things that happened to me, I had once in a Food Lion parking lot, the car was backing out of its parking spot and then just stopped and said that the camera was blocked when it wasn't. But it was kind of weird because when I looked at the phone, it was like the front camera just grayed out, and I'm not really sure what caused that. But then the other one was actually in another Food Lion parking lot, and it had a false public road abort where it thought that the road running along the back of the parking lot was a public road, and it just stopped in the middle of the parking lot and wouldn't move. So well, I don't want to say those were the two big ones, because on the updated version, I'm like I said earlier, I'm working on a video of Smart Summon, and I went to Costco to get a couple of shots there, and I think I ended up trying it about 4 or 5 times, and every single time I tried it, I would lose connection to the car from my phone, and it would just stop in the middle of the parking lot. So I don't know that that's so much Summon's fault as it is, I don't know if it's cell towers or what the issue is there, but I do know that Tesla needs to do something, or needs to fix what happens when you lose connection. So right now, at least my experience is, the car just nails the brakes and stops wherever it's at. In my opinion, it still has a vision system going. It still kind of knows what's going on around it. It needs to get out of the way. So both of the times it happened to me, it stopped in the middle of a busy area in the parking lot, when it could have easily just moved forward a couple feet and scooted over to the right and stopped, and it would have been way better. So I really think they need to do something about that, because those two experiences have kind of made me wary to use it now. That only really happened at Costco and in that general vicinity around it, but that shouldn't happen. And I looked kind of stupid having to run through those parking lots to go rescue the car, so hopefully they'll get that fixed. And once again, picking a beautiful route to go through. This is very nice. It's doing an awesome job through here. It's going a perfect speed, slowing down nicely for the curves and the weird turns, the medians. I mean, just feels really good. Not really sure where it's taking us, but that's fine. Interesting to see which direction it decides to go. Looks like we're deciding to go straight here. I think I've been through here before at some point, but I really don't know where we're at. I think there's some bars I've been to down somewhere down that road before, but I've only really been through here at night. It's interesting to come through during the day. Should be turning right here. Yep, looks like we are. There's no left turn permitted, so that's Good choice. I'm gonna have my foot over the pedals and ready to jump in if I need to here. I'm only doing that just because this is, yeah, I'm around William and Mary, and there's a lot of college students that walk around here, so just in case, I just want to be ready. And the car is just doing an awesome job going through here. I'm not familiar with the area, and that's one of the most fun times to use FSD, is when you're somewhere where you're not familiar with, because it feels really magical. Like times where I'm confused, the car just knows what to do, and that is just such a cool feeling. It's such a good use case for FSD. There are definitely times where I'm driving, like if I'm on a road trip or something and I'm not sure where I'm at, I'll turn it on just because, you know, sometimes GPS doesn't do a good job of telling you where your next turn is, or if there's a bunch of turns right next to each other, it's hard to tell which one it wants you to take. And FSD just knows. So yeah, it did a great job navigating through back there. Not sure where we're coming out to now. Kind of looks like when we go straight that we might be coming up to a dead end or to like a trolley station or something. I don't know what the heck I'm looking at, but we'll find out. Okay. I have no idea where this thing is taking us. Okay. Kind of like in the middle of a parking lot here. Not sure if this guy knows that we're behind him or not. The car's handling it well. See a little bit of uncertainty in the steering wheel there. It's kind of what I was talking about earlier when I said a little bit of jerkiness at low speeds, but okay. I didn't think you could cut through where it just cut through, but I guess you can. And looks like we're back headed in the other direction now, which is fine by me. Feels so natural coming through here. The way it slowed down as the road narrowed and we're around more people just really feels good. I'm not sure what these people are doing that are in front of us right now. It's doing a great job. All right, we're coming up to an intersection here. I think it needs to pick left or right. Okay, looks like we're gonna go right. A little bit jerky there. I don't know how much you could see that, but it's definitely noticeable in the car, but ended up getting through there well. Old El Camino in front of us. My vision monitoring went away for some reason. Okay, I actually do know where I'm at now. A lot of the times I'll come out here and actually pick destinations for FSD, but it seems to have gotten us here on its own, so cool. I think we're in Williamsburg right now, Williamsburg, Virginia. Look at the visualization here. What an awesome view. It's amazing how much the car can see. Now it is having a little bit of a hard time with, there's a pedestrian right there. You can kind of see her off in the distance. She's actually standing in the median between, she's standing right on this median here, but it's kind of placing her on the other side of it, and it's kind of got that car like sitting in the grass, but and I can see somebody saying, well, if the car had radar or LiDAR, it would know exactly where those people are. And that's probably true, but, you know, does it really matter? Like, they're... Oh, that was weird. They were super far away from us. They weren't anywhere near our path of travel. And, you know, it's like, as long as it doesn't hit them. In my eyes, the car doesn't need to know down to the millimeter how far everything away from you is. And my thinking for that is a human doesn't know that. Like, I know that the El Camino in front of us is about 4 to 5 feet in front of the car. I don't know that it's exactly, you know, 1,000 millimeters in front of us. And I don't need to, as long as I don't hit them and I'm, you know, a safe distance and drive like a normal person. That's what really matters. And FSD does a great job of that. I don't think it has very much issue with depth perception in its travel path. So we've been recording for about 45 minutes now. I can feel my camera getting pretty hot. So just in case it does overheat in a bit, I'll go ahead and do a quick wrap up. Overall, I think we pressed the pedal like once that entire drive. Never entered a destination, just kind of let it drive us wherever it wanted to. It's done a great job. It's felt great. I think we pressed the pedal twice. We pressed it once because it was going a little bit slow in front of somebody, and then the second time it started moving at a green light and then hit the brakes really hard. But other than that, it's done a great job. Went through some real cool places. Picked a really nice path to go through and film a video on. So yeah, like I said, I'll be putting out a actually smart summon video pretty soon. Definitely check that out and let me know what you think. If you got anything that you want to see specific, let me know down in the comment section of this video. If you've watched the whole thing, I appreciate it. Please subscribe if you don't mind. I'm going to try to keep putting out videos and not go as long between videos as I just did. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.